Welcome to BalletMets Director's Point of View. I'm your host, Brett Johnson. In each podcast episode, we get to talk to BalletMets Artistic Director Edward Liang about the upcoming BalletMet performance. This time, we talk about the Nutcracker. Let's get started. Well, happy holidays, Edward. Again, we're talking about BalletMets, the Nutcracker, coming up already, even though the weather outside is not very holiday-like. But I think once the Nutcracker's performance starts coming into play, the holiday spirit comes along.
Happy holidays. And I totally agree with you. This is a very special time to be able to celebrate with family, but it's really about tradition. And Nutcracker is here in Columbus, Ohio. I can't believe we're celebrating so many years of presenting the Nutcracker here in Columbus, Ohio. And we've been doing Nutcrackers in Detroit Opera House for the past 7 years. So we just got back and we're gearing up for the Ohio Theater.
I was looking at the webpage, and I really encourage anyone that hasn't been to BalletMet's webpage. So it's been redesigned, very easy to use, lots of background on the performances, as well as taking a look at the casting list. And I always forget how many people are involved in the cast from ages 8 to 80.
That is one of the things that I'm so proud of, is that it is really a part of the community. And that's why we're here, is that not only are we presenting I really believe, a fantastic production of Nutcracker that is, it moves, it has humor, it has heart, and there's a little bit for everybody. But at the same time is that it gives our big academy, we have a 1,700 student academy. We're the 5th largest academy in the United States, which is huge. And it gives our academy students the ability to perform with a professional company and to perform with live music, the CSO, which is another added bonus. And these types of experiences I'm really proud of, and being able to present and to encourage young artists to, there's nothing like performing live on stage. And whether they want to be professional dancers or not, it's transformative.
And the added, as you mentioned, with Columbus Symphony Orchestra, a lot of the younger performers may have only been performing with recorded music, performing with a live orchestra. It cranks it up.
Absolutely. If you think about it, and I talk about it with my board and the community, and especially my dancers, is that if you're used to having one tempo or one recording and it has the same nuance, you can't help but have the same sort of response to the music. But if it's live music, it's constantly changing. There's always different nuances. The tempos are always different, so you have to be in the moment. So that's why I think live music is always such a game changer. And, who doesn't love the CSO?
Exactly. The rehearsals began a long time ago, correct?
Yeah. It takes a good, I would say, 3 weeks to be able to get the production up and running. And it takes about 2 weekends where the company and the academy rehearse on Saturday and Sunday so that they can really come together and put all the students together. There's close to over 100 students that are a part of this production. And there's multiple casts. And what I'm also proud of is not just the amount of people on stage, but how many different variation of casts. Casts mean that, each dancer, each student gets to perform different parts and different roles and give different opportunities. And for the company is that we have 5 casts of Sugar Plum, 3 casts of, the Cavalier, the Prince and the Nutcracker, and Clara. It really gives an opportunity for the dancers to dance multiple roles, but the audience to be able to see and understand that each dancer creates a whole different feeling and sense and experience for these productions.
I was going to ask, it's such a long performance, done it many, many years now, going into decades, really, when it comes down to it. How do you keep, and I think I know the answer a little bit to this, but how do you keep the performers energized to perform so many nights in a row, long performance schedule, and it's a performance that they could do it in their sleep to a certain degree. But how do you keep them energized to keep them going all the way through the 24th?
That's the beauty and the hardship of ballet, and I think theater and the arts. We're always striving for perfection, and there's no such thing. So there is always something to work on. There's always more to grow. What's really spectacular about, I think, BalletMet, the whole organization from the academy to all the company, we're always striving for more. We're really ambitious for ourselves. And I absolutely love that and am inspired by the energy of that, because it really shows that we're striving and that we're always getting better. And this art form, and any art form, I really believe, is that if we want to get a little theoretical, or just is that, I think life is about learning. We're constant students. And if we stay humble and open, it means that we can grow as artists exponentially.
Somewhat sad, some retirements going on with the company and last performances and such like that. And I know you wanted to touch upon what's happening with this performance.
Yeah, we have 3 dancers that have been a part of BalletMet and the fabric of BalletMet for a long time. We have Adrienne Benz. She will be retiring at the end of the season. Andreas Esteves, who's been with BalletMet for many, many years, and Bethany Lee, who will be retiring doing the Sugar Plum Fairy in Nutcracker at the end of the run. And it's bittersweet, but I do urge people to come and see how they performed the Nutcracker for the last time. And, I think all 3 of them have been able to build fantastic careers in this community and with BalletMet, that I really urge the community to come and celebrate their career. And I think that, this is the natural evolution or the arc of any sort of dancer, and it is very bittersweet, but I'm so happy for their next steps and for what's to come, because this art form, it changes you as a person. The amount of dedication, the amount of perseverance, work ethic, how much you understand about your body, how much you understand about staying humble, and these things will continue with their life, and they're only going to be more successful because of it.
This is going to be diving into the weeds a little bit, and you've experienced and you've seen this from other dancers, that retirement arc, as you mentioned. How does a dancer prepare for that? One last performance done. How's that transition happen?
I don't think that there is a recipe, and I don't think that there is any way for a dancer to prepare. Even I think dancers that are don't feel as if it's happening, or that they're not sad about it. They're really happy about the transition. I think the last performance always shocks them, because it's been their life. And I really, it's a hard transition, but it's a transition that all of us have to go through. If you decide to be in this business, in this craft, is that, our careers are short, but they're spectacular. And I don't think that you can prepare for it. I know, I always give this analogy for dancers when they get injured. They're like broken birds, and it's a part of them. It's not that they're just just injured is that for right now, they are kind of on the sidelines. They're not able to fly. And it's not just that they're physically hurt, but they feel very disoriented because they use their body to be able to express themselves. That is where they're at their best. That's where they feel and they're most confident. And so if they don't have that ability, it makes them feel very disoriented. And it's similar to retirement, is that this has been their lives day in and day out, and then all of a sudden it's different. And how do you prepare for something like that?
As a retiring early, they have a lot of years in front of them. It's not like a normal 65, 70-year-old retiring. It's, at that age where, they're seeing something, they need to move on or whatever the case might be, but they lots of years in front of them.
Yeah. But, even somebody that is 65 or 55 or any age, I've heard and I've talked to a lot of people that they're at the age of retirement, whether they were ready or not, they still feel disoriented and their lives have changed. Obviously, some for the better, some for the worse, but transitions and change is always hard for all of us. And, especially these amazing artists that have given their body and soul to this community and this craft, I, again, really urge everybody to come and celebrate, their careers.
And while they're here watching the performances, I've got to ask this because there's so much action going on the stage. What part of the performance do you think gets unnoticed?
I love that you asked that question because, there's so many nuances that the audiences may or may not see. I hope that they do. And what's great about this production is there's so many little backstories all around. And if you can catch glimpses of how these artists are enacting these backstories, whether it's the tourist trying to find themselves through, the house, or the rich couple where they're constantly snooty and they're constantly looking down upon people, or the grandmother is a perfect example because she is always up to mischief. There's all these different little backstories and nuances that I think is incredible, especially when people are leaving the party and the grandmother's right by the fire and she's a little miffed that, that she was her dance and her solo was broken up, and she's by the fire and toasting her butt and toasting her feet, and whether she's dancing by herself or just a little pissed off, and that cracks me up every time.
Love it. Yeah, I remembering those, that the party scene is probably the most eye-intriguing of all because of so much going on, the stories,
yeah.
and I can imagine that the performance, as the performance schedule goes along, play it and play it and play it, exactly.
Yes, and that's what's really fun about watching different casts and different dancers interpret the role, and it really is a great example of that every performance is different, and having different artists perform different roles changes the whole production.
Thanks for listening to BalletMet's Director's Point of View. Since 1978, BalletMet has brought incredible dance to theaters, studios, and classrooms in Central Ohio and beyond. For more information about BalletMet and this performance, and to purchase tickets, go to balletmet.org. There you'll find all the social media connections as well. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast in iTunes or your favorite podcast player.